Welcome to the InfoMullet YouTube channel. If you enjoy this content, please like or share. And if you'd like to support the InfoMullet by becoming a mulleteer, visit us on Patreon. We appreciate your support. How do we evaluate the information we're getting when there's just this crush of information? There's really three kinds of truth we can talk about that are relevant to things like coronavirus, right? The simplest truth are what we would call essential truths. These are truths that are true because we have defined them to be true. So when we say a triangle has three sides, that becomes an essential truth because by definition, any triangle will have three sides. It's most useful in things like math and pure logic. You can go back to Euclid's geometry, and all the forms that he builds on are built upon these essential truths. So the second kind of truth that people often, I think, latch onto is what we might call objective truth or empirical truth. And this is a truth that has been tested through hypothesis, has been proven through experiments. It's the kind of truth we come to believe in from scientific method. The problem is that where objective truths, where we've traditionally gotten them from in the natural world, physics, chemistry, simple biology, these tend to be what are called open systems. And we're looking at a fragment of the system and establishing an objective truth for that fragment. When we talk about what we're dealing with right now in the global pandemic, this is a complex system. Complex systems are closed systems. They deal with information feedback loops that create all these dynamics that change over time. And instead of looking at a fragment of a system, we're looking at the whole system. So what does that mean for truth? There are very few objective truths or empirical truths, especially in a novel virus situation, that we can point to and say, that is a truth. An objective truth is the how a nuclear bomb detonates and explodes. That's physics. It can be tested and replicated, hopefully not often, but we can isolate exactly what happens when an atomic bomb goes off. How to contain nuclear weapons, the policy decisions of how to contain nuclear weapon, how to encourage disarmament, how to prevent armament or arms races, that is not an objective truth. That is not an open system. That is a very complex system. And the trick with complex systems is you can never experiment with them. You can never have the same system and run a test on it twice. You know, moving to the pandemic, we can't take Italy from beginning of March and run two tests with the exact same conditions. And so the concept of empirical and objective truth begins to break down for complex systems. Well, what does that leave us with? It leaves us with something called explanatory truth. The explanatory truth is the simplest theory that doesn't have fallacy, is evidence-based, it's rigorous, but also provides an explanation for what is happening and what will happen, and has the fewest anomalies available. But we also recognize an explanatory truth can never be empirically proven like an objective truth. You may have heard of Occam's razor or Kuhn's paradigm. Occam's razor says, all else being equal, the simplest explanation is likely true. And Kuhn's paradigm is that when you have competing paradigms of theories in complex systems, the one with the least anomalies is probably a little bit better. Occam's Kuhn's razor, you combine them, it's the simplest theory with the least anomalies that can explain not only a current situation, but a future situation. So an explanatory truth, it is a theory that can explain the entire system with the fewest amount of anomalies. And by anomalies, I mean things you have to explain by bringing in other theories. And a lot of these news sources, they fail on the standard of being a useful explanatory truth. They are loaded with anomalies. They don't give you any predictive power of what's going to happen next. It doesn't explain the entirety of the system we're seeing. It just tries to provide a point explanation, which falls apart when you consider the rest of the system. So we need right now in the moment are explanatory truths, truths that help us understand what's happening right now and make decisions going forward that will be fruitful and useful in the conduct of what we do based on the truth we are assuming. If I assume that coronavirus doesn't exist and I go out and get infected, that has not been a very useful explanatory truth. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to follow the InfoMullet, visit us on Facebook or Twitter. And if you'd like notifications when we post new video content, click on the red subscribe button below the video. If you've ever wanted to become a mulleteer and support the InfoMullet, visit us on Patreon. We appreciate the support.